Hey, what's up, Cloudways fans? Good to see you here today. We're going to be featuring an agency and having a conversation with Darren Ratcliffe of Courageous, an agency based in Manchester in the UK. Their agency was founded in 2015. They've been a Cloudways customer since 2018. They've got over 80 of their clients on the Cloudways platform. They've got clients like JD Fashion PLC in the UK, as well as eBay, and they primarily work with WordPress, WooCommerce, and Magento. So we're going to be talking today about how they leverage the Cloudways platform, some of the things that their agency does to get great results for their clients. So stick with us here on the live session. If you have questions or comments for myself or Darren, throw them in the comments box below, and we'll do our best to answer as we go through our program today. So Darren, welcome to the program, man.
Brent, thank you very much for having me.
So Darren, give us the elevator pitch. What is Courageous all about? How do you help clients?
So we're an e-commerce agency. We're based in Manchester in the north of England, and we build outstanding websites for ambitious businesses. So anybody who's looking to sell online, predominantly e-commerce, then we're the agency for them.
Very cool. And you mentioned that you started using Cloudways in around 2018. So your business was around for a few years before you decided to take the jump with the Cloudways platform. So what were some of the things that you were thinking about or reasons that you decided to shift to using Cloudways?
Yeah, so we did quite an extensive review of different platforms that were available and different hosting strategies. And we were weighing up the differences between dedicated servers, whether you use mass hosting providers or something else. And one of the team found Cloudways as an option. And as we looked into it, the thing that started to appeal to us was the flexibility that it gave with the different hosting providers that sit under the management tier. And the more we looked into it and the flexibility it gave us, it started to tick a lot of boxes. And it was that originally brought us towards working with Cloudways.
You mentioned flexibility. So that's something that we talk about a lot with Cloudways. So that's something that drew you to the platform. I'm curious how that plays out for you in your agency in the day-to-day. I mean, do you have clients that are at a lot of different server levels or different configurations? Are you using different infrastructure providers?
Yeah, so the platform has changed a lot since we first started working with you. And the benefits that we start to see now is that if you use, you mentioned WooCommerce and Magento before, the needs of someone with Magento are completely different to someone who's using WooCommerce. Now, previously, we would go down, before we were using Cloudways, is looking at dedicated servers, which can be expensive, time consuming to manage. And the thing that stuck out for us with our Magento clients is that it was quick and it was flexible and it wasn't really expensive to set up good quality hosting. So that's one of the things that works really well for us. And then when you take it to the other side with people with WooCommerce, the ability to set up staging environments really easily and synchronize them is another brilliant thing that's just there. We don't have to invest time and effort to get it set up. It just works. So that the two really good things that benefit us, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you guys mentioned that you use Cloudways for is, some of these e-commerce sites and WooCommerce. And I know when it comes to building kind of high performance WooCommerce sites, the host plays a really big part. How do you all approach development of WooCommerce sites, and how does Cloudways help you with that?
Well, I guess that comes back to what we were saying before about having good staging environments. And I'll give you an example with one of our customers that we're working with, and their new site, fingers crossed, will go live on Monday. They came to us originally, and we run some small group servers where we'll host up to 20 websites, never any more than that. And as the needs of those clients on that server grow, one thing, it's really easy to just scale the server up, and it's not really expensive either, which is a benefit, helps our clients. But we've just got them to the point now where we're looking and saying, well, they actually need their own server because the business is growing and the demands on the site is. And again, it's not a huge effort to just migrate them to a new server. It's a couple of clicks, create the server, transfer it across. And things like that that may have taken us a couple of days of planning and preparation for and some downtime, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. We can get that done within an hour, so it really helps us with what we're doing. It lets us focus on keeping the site up and running. And as I say, Cloudways is priced fantastically, so it's really cost effective for our clients.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? I mean, obviously we know when you're putting a client, directly on the platform, we can, look to see what that pricing is, but have you had any clients that have moved from a competitor host or another platform where you were able to help them save some money?
Yeah, so we've got lots of examples of that. So first thing, and credit to we could talk about the feature of the system all day long, but things like migrating sites is really, really easy with WordPress over to Cloudways. You can do it with a couple of clicks and it does all the hard work for you. But then we look at other clients that we work with, and some of our larger scale Magento clients who are with more traditional hosts who've got dedicated servers. What we found is by moving them to Cloudways, they can get more performance out of the hosting infrastructure. And in one case that we had late last year, not far off half the costs. So it's a no-brainer. That helps us because with that saving, they can reinvest it in the marketing and developing of the website, which is good news for us.
That's awesome. And I love hearing, the migrations are easy and some of those feature sets. I'm curious with your development team, maybe you can kind of paint us a picture of who all is responsible at Courageous for developing the websites. Is it just one or two people, or how does that team work within that environment? I know a lot of agencies out there maybe have multiple developers, maybe they have a sysadmin team member, and I'm always interested to hear how they're leveraging Cloudways, how they're leveraging the support team to increase their productivity.
Yeah, so we've got a core team of three main developers that use Cloudways every day, and then depending on project scale, we'll add to that team and grow it as and when we need. And the way that works for us is it's really easy to give them access. We use GitHub for projects as well, and it just works. It's really simple and straightforward to do. And I'm going to jinx this now, but to date, we've not really hit a problem with distributed working. So since the pandemic, we work partly from the office where I am today, but also partly remote as well. And again, being a distributed team isn't something that gives us any problems at all.
Very nice. How have you felt in terms of overall performance? I know you've mentioned that you have kind of some different approaches to how you host sites, and that's one of the most common questions that we get in terms of, well, how many servers do I need? Do I put all my clients on one server? Do I spread them out a little bit? But in terms of like performance, how have you been able to manage and measure performance on your client sites?
Yeah, so I mentioned before that the platform has developed a lot in the time we've been with you, and that's not stopped. So things like introducing the bot protection, which is looking out for malicious traffic hitting sites, has been a great help. There is the AI stuff that will notify us if servers are experiencing problems, which means we can be proactive with support. So all those things really, really help because they're doing our job for us, and it means that the developers can concentrate on developing rather than fixing problems. And the one thing that we noticed is there was recently the outage that we had last week that was hitting a lot of Cloudflare customers. We didn't have a single problem with Cloudways. It stayed up, everything continued to work, and that's great. So it just shows that it's a resilient platform. And the other thing you've got is with having a different choice of hosts sitting underneath, you can match the right hosting platform to the right client as well.
You mentioned a few of our kind of add-ons and additional features like bot protection and the AI notifications. Curious, speaking of Cloudflare, not to highlight their worldwide outage last week, but I know we recently rolled out Cloudflare Enterprise at a really affordable rate. Is that something you've been able to take advantage for your client sites yet?
It's not yet. We've got a mixture of clients that largely a lot of them will use the free version, which does a great job. We've got a couple that pay, but we've not done that through Cloudways yet but it's only a matter of time until we start doing that. Because again, it's another good thing to have it inbuilt as well. It's therefore not just this other added in thing that we have to worry about integrating somehow.
I'm always curious about how agencies approach their model on Cloudways, whether they're kind of creating a value-added reseller model where they're, maybe upcharging their clients for web care and web hosting. If they're approaching it more as like a pass-through. I'm curious how you present and sell Cloudways as a brand to your clients, and also how you're leveraging that as a hosting and business model.
Yeah. So everything we do, we're open with our customers. We tell them how we do things, and how things are set up. And I'm just looking on my screen now because I'm working on a proposal for a client. Page 8 is about website hosting, and it's all about Cloudways and how great it is and the benefits of it. Now, what we sometimes find is that people will come to us and say, "Build us a great website, but we're not going to host it with you. We want to do that ourselves." And in that case, we just put them in contact with Cloudways, help them get set up. We get added in as a user to their account and we'll manage it for them. But the vast majority of our customers have got some care package with us. So that's put into their monthly fee, as we're doing whether it's support with just website updates, with managing content or some form of digital marketing. But again, that helps us because the cost isn't exceptionally high. It makes our retainer model cheaper. It's lower cost for people because so it's more affordable. So again, it's just another string in our bow.
That's awesome. I love that you're able to, pass that savings on to the customer, but I think more importantly, you're able to present more value. So it's not necessarily that the customer is spending less overall in their digital budget, but that those dollars are going further, right? They're able to accomplish more with the same budget, which I think is amazing that you're able to leverage it in that way.
And there's another thing. We did a workshop yesterday with a new client who wants to. They're going to launch in the UK initially, but want a truly global business. And they were asking about hosting partners where they can manage hosting over 3 continents at least. Well, straight away, you could take them through Cloudways, and it just backs us up so much that we've got that resource that we can, and we can partner with Cloudways on that, and it ticks all the boxes that they've got. It makes my life running the business a lot easier when I'm talking to new customers.
Do you have any, new or upcoming projects that you're really excited about for your agency?
Yeah, we do. We worked on one last year that we're going to be able to unveil next week. Can't say anything about who it's for until then. But again, all hosted, set up on Cloudways, and it's fantastic. But then there's the other client that I said that they're going to launch on Monday, and that's a business that we inherited from an old school hosting provider. Put them on Cloudways. We'll get them onto their new server next week and get that launched for a new e-commerce. For a new e-commerce website. And that's the good thing about what we do with e-commerce. It's exciting. We're seeing businesses grow every day. And when you start to see, practical things like Google page speed insights that are all boosted by great hosting with Cloudways, it just makes the journey that little bit easier. I sound like I'm being paid by Cloudways, and I'm not.
Well, it sounds like you're getting a lot of value from Cloudways, and in return, your clients are paying you handsomely for the results that you're getting them, which is great. And I was recently reading how even like a small 10% improvement in page speed can have a phenomenal impact on conversion. So I know if you are out there building, WooCommerce and Magento websites, and you're not putting speed at the forefront of that conversion conversation, then it's probably a huge missed opportunity. So I loved hearing that you guys are looking at Google page speed insights and taking that very seriously, because it has a huge impact on cart and close rates.
Absolutely, and again, it's that back with Magento. We used to do a lot of work with Magento 1.9. When eBay owned the platform, they asked us to start working with it. And what we noticed with Magento 2 is the cost of ownership of Magento took a big step up. It became a more expensive platform to own. So again, having something like Cloudways, which gives you more resource for a fairer price, again, just makes that obstacle a little bit less with Magento.
Who would you recommend Cloudways for? When you think about how it's helped your agencies, what would be your message to other agencies out there?
So this thing is, who wouldn't you recommend Cloudways to? Because if you've got, if you're setting up your own business and you know how to use WordPress, do a bit of coding, you can get a really good, decent package for not a lot of money every month from Cloudways. But then you can take it right up to enterprise level. Like I mentioned, we've got this multinational project that will be coming up, and it's perfect for that as well. So there is a good range of options with Cloudways. And there's another thing that we've not spoken about yet, which I think is even more important than the other things that I've mentioned so far, and it's the support. That was one of the big questions we had, and you don't really know how good a partner is going to be with the support until you've tried it. And consistently, since we've worked with you, the support's been great as well. So if anyone needs any guidance or help, brilliant. It's there for you, and that's a really important thing as well.
Darren, this has been an awesome conversation, man. I love hearing your story, the type of work you're doing. And I know you can't talk about the client you have, which I totally respect, right? It's almost like we all know as agency owners, right? When you can't talk about a client, that usually means it's a big and juicy one. So I think we can all let our imaginations run wild on that and think about, that you've got some great, exciting things happening for Courageous. And, we're just really happy to be able to support you and your growth and your agency journey here at Cloudways. So really appreciate you hanging out with us today and sharing your story.
Thank you. We'll have it out on our socials, hopefully in 2 weeks' time. So there you go.
Very cool. Well, we'll do a follow-up comment on this thread across our channels. So we'll get to know who that client is in a couple of weeks. So if you're all watching this out there and you're like wondering, sitting on pins and needles, we'll find out, man. But I appreciate you stopping by our virtual office today and sharing a little bit of your story and telling people how Cloudways has impacted your agency.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much.
All right, that's it for this Agency Spotlight feature. If you guys are out there and you're thinking about making the switch to Cloudways, definitely check out cloudways.com. Check out our agency partner program at cloudways.com/agency. We'd love to see how we can help your agency grow your business online, support your clients, deliver great results, great flexibility, choice, price, and performance with your website hosting choice. So I know there's choices out there, but we'd love to make Cloudways your platform of choice. That's our program for today. Thanks again, Darren and the Courageous team. We'll see you next time.
Cheers. Thank you.